Democrats win the shutdown. Message war on healthcare. Maybe. The government shutdown in Washington isn't just about spending, it's about story. The Times reports Democrats are framing the standoff around Affordable Health Care Act subsidies set to expire, warning premiums could spike for roughly 20 million Americans, many of them in red districts. In a White House meeting, Senator Chuck Schumer and Representative Hakeem Jeffries told President Trump that failure to extend subsidies would hurt his own voters. Trump, quote, did not dispute the point, and later said, quote, I'd like to see a deal made for great health care, end quote. Republican leaders still resist an extension, but the politics are bad. Now, there have been findings that overwhelming public support for keeping subsidies is there. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene said her adult children's premiums could double without action, and she's not alone there. Democrats are holding the line, insisting on a healthcare commitment before reopening government. In messaging terms, clarity wins, and don't raise my premium is fairly clear. What's the bottom line here? We're now about a week into this government shutdown, and at the moment, the Democrats' message does seem to be winning. It's about healthcare. The Democrats are saying, we don't want healthcare costs to double, quadruple for 20 million Americans and kick millions of Americans in the streets when it comes to healthcare. The Republican message is still something about illegal immigrants eating your cats or dogs. Let's dig a little bit deeper here. I am not, let me be very clear, I am not telling you that a month from now or come election time that this government shutdown is going to be some big political victory for the Democrats. This can change on a daily basis. I'm here to play it straight with you and give you my honest assessment as someone who has 40 years of experience working at political leaders, business leaders, figure out how to communicate complex message. And right now, both parties have some confusion because the Republicans, on the one hand, are saying, we're about having a lean, efficient government. We want it to keep going. And the Democrats are torn because there are a lot of Democrats who wanted to shut the government down to send a message to Trump that we don't approve of your autocratic rulings, your tyrannical rulings. We don't approve of you shredding the Constitution on a daily basis, deciding not to spend money after Congress has appropriated it. It's Congress's role to figure out what to spend money on. We don't approve of you weaponizing your Department of Justice and going after people like Comey for doing their job. And we really don't approve of you violating the Constitution, just creating tariffs without getting approval from the Senate. All of these things are a part of the mix. And yet I think the Democrats rightly concluded it's too complex to try to sell that message to the American people. You can't say here's a bread basket full or here's a baker's dozens of things we don't like about Trump. Therefore, we're shutting down the government. That's too complex a message. So the Democrats have coalesced around this message of if we just give you the extension on the budget, on the debt ceiling, as of right now, 20 million Americans are going to lose subsidies for their health care. So people like Marjorie Taylor Greene's kids are going to see a doubling of their premiums. Now, if you are 29 years old and you make, say, $40,000 a year, and your healthcare premiums are already $1,000 a month, and now they're going to $2,000 a month, well, there's a very simple explanation as to what will happen. People just won't pay it. They won't pay it. They'll become uninsured. And then if they get in a car wreck or they have some diagnosis where they have a lot of medical needs, now they got to go bankrupt. Welcome to the American dream. So that's the big problem politically. So right now, the message does seem to be dominating among the public. The Republicans' message has been that the Democrats are shutting down the government because they want you, the American taxpayer, to give free health care to illegal aliens. Illegal immigrants and illegal aliens. That is the message. It's been said again and again and again by Trump, by Republican senators, by the Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. It has been repeated again and again and again. And I have to give credit to the non-MAGA media for doing their job, being honest. And every time it's said, the journalists have done their job for once. They've actually pointed out it's not true. Sometimes they label it correctly, which is, it is a lie. It is simply a lie. If I tell you, I have proof right here, I have a document right here that is certified, notarized, documented by the FBI, proving that Donald Trump last night took 200 military trucks to Fort Knox, loaded up all the gold, and has instructed those at the federal mint to turn them into giant nude golden statues of Melania. And they are going to be encircling Mar-a-Lago. That is as factually accurate as when Republicans say the Democrats want to spend your money giving illegal aliens, illegal immigrants, your money for their health care. Now, the lie I just told is pretty obvious. It's a lie. And it's going to come across as a lie to you because I can't command 1,000 other people saying it. Top Democrats aren't going to say it in the House. Top Democrats in the Senate aren't going to say it. Top liberal or progressive or mainstream or centrist or right of center podcasters and commentators are not going to just repeat the lie that Trump stole all the gold from Fort Knox and turned it into nude gold statues of his wife and placing it around Mar-a-Lago. So there won't be that echo chamber, that repetition power, that thing you really need to make a big lie work. Now, Trump has been extraordinarily successful throughout his career, just fixating on a falsehood and repeating it over and over again for political advantage. That's what he did. It really launched his political career saying Barack Obama wasn't an American, was not born in America. He said it again, and it didn't matter how many times proof was given to him. He just kept on saying it, and it did help him politically. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's never ethical or honest to lie, but that is essentially the Republican message right now on why the Democrats aren't voting to extend the debt ceiling. So for right now, it does appear that that message is not resonating. The polls from what I've seen seem to be holding, showing that between 9 and 19% more Americans blame the Republican Party for the shutdown than they do the Democratic Party. I'm not seeing any new messages really emerge from either party, which generally means they kind of feel like it's working. What has changed is Republican messaging emanating from Trump. It seems to be weakening a little. Trump has made some suggestions that, maybe we are going to have to do something. And then he quickly backtracks. It is significant that Marjorie Taylor Greene, certainly no liberal, no Democrat, someone who is traditionally, at least the last 6-8 years, been seen as a staunch advocate of everything President Trump has said. She's broken with him on this issue. I think she's genuinely afraid of her own children seeing their healthcare and they're, I guess, in their mid-20s. She's genuinely afraid of her own children not having any healthcare. And that disturbs her. And it's hitting, the interesting thing, the irony here is it's hitting Republicans more than Democrats because of certain political factors, certain states that have not extended certain medical health care provisions, Medicare, Medicaid provisions, mean it's even easier for someone to fall through the cracks. So we'll see. This is an interesting fight for Donald Trump because he has broken from traditional conservative, libertarian-leaning economic policies that dominated the party for so long, where it was always about smaller government, cut government waste, let people take care of themselves. He ran back in 2016 and again on the idea, I'm not here to take away your goodies. I'm just here to attack and tell you how bad the liberals are every day. I'm here to show grievance for you. And yeah, I'll take care of these bad immigrants and inflation. But Trump never ran on the platform of taking away your health care. Yes, he did say, I don't like Obamacare because it's a Democrat thing. I'm going to come up with something much, much better. Here we are 10 years later, he's never once come up with an actual plan. He always talks about, in the near future, I'll be coming up with a plan. He said it during the campaign last year. There is no plan from Trump or anyone in the Republican Party to give the vast, vast majority of Americans health care at affordable rate. There simply is no plan because you only have two options. You have some form of single-payer health care, the way they have in Canada and England and other democracies, and that's not going to politically fly in America. Sorry to some of my liberal friends for saying that, but it's just true. The other option is you have this crazy quilt, complex checks and balances, which is what Obamacare does. And now Trump wants to essentially get rid of that as well. And he's been chipping away at it. But he doesn't like to, he never said, like a lot of Republicans, let's get rid of Social Security. He's never been one saying, let's cut back and tighten our belts. It's always about blaming someone else for something, but he's not asking people for sacrifice. So that is what is interesting about the current trajectory of the federal government under his watch, is all of these subsidies for tens of millions of Americans would go away, and it would dramatically increase their monthly health care costs or force them to simply go without any health care.